Hello. Good evening. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. Welcome.
Yes, welcome to the Turner Team seminar, first seminar of the year,
Yes.
2023.
And lots more to come.
Yes, we are so excited today to have you here for Prepare to Buy Your Home. All right. And we're excited because you are going to find out all the ins and outs of preparation. And, if you don't already know who we are, I am Kimberly Turner.
And I'm Denise Turner.
And we are the Turner Team. And we are so excited today to be able to share with you about what we are passionate about, and that is real estate. Because real estate allows for you to be able to have generational wealth. And generational wealth is what allows you to pass on your legal legacy. And we love legacy. Yes?
Yes, we do. As a mother and daughter team, yes, we're creating a legacy, hopefully for the community, to help people to own a home, which is one of the most valued assets that one can achieve. So here we go.
Okay, so we specialize as a Turner Team in residential and commercial real estate, as well as we work throughout the state of Missouri and throughout the country with our top partnering realtors. And we work with buyers, sellers, as well as investors. So if any of that is what you've been thinking about, then this is the workshop for you. Let's start to prepare, because preparation can start even a year out in advance.
So let's get your pen and paper ready so you can take those notes.
All right, and do some screenshots, because you are going to want to hear what we have to say. And we also would like for you to go ahead, if you haven't already, and register for this seminar, because that's going to enter you into a beautiful raffle where you'll be able to win a what, Mom?
A $25 gift card.
That's right. As well as like and follow us on Facebook. The QR codes are on the screen. You can go ahead and do so now. We'll post it throughout our chat with you here today. So prepare to buy your home. We have a beautiful special guest, none other than Operation Hope's own Melissa Karan. And she is here with us today, and we are excited. Welcome her into the chat with us for today's seminar. Hello, Melissa.
Hi, Melissa.
Hello. I'm so excited to be on here and help educate the community and hopefully spread some knowledge to someone.
I know you will.
That's right. You are a financial coach. Is that right? Tell our viewers here, a little bit about yourself, because no one can talk about themselves and who they are better than the person who's speaking.
So awesome. So I work for an amazing organization called Operation Hope. So I'll explain a little bit more about that in just a second, but just a little bit about myself. So I actually come from a teaching background. I was a teacher for 6 years. I also have a master's in school counseling. So obviously this educational piece is huge to me. In a change of events, I moved into the banking world and worked for Regions Bank for about 5 years. And then what I like to call this as my dream job kind of came to me. So I always tell people, like I said, it's my dream job. It has my favorite things from teaching, educating, and helping people. And then my favorite part from banking is just, again, getting to help people and educate them in a different way. So this truly is my dream job. I love what I do. I'm very passionate about it. So with
Yes,
that, with
yes.
Operation Hope, so what I do is I'm a financial well-being coach. So my job is to help educate and help people get their finances in order to be able to purchase a home. So I focus on credit and money management. So one of the biggest things that people come to me and they say, hey, I want to purchase a home, but they don't really know where their credit is, what they have, anything like that. So I go through and I help people with credit. We kind of look at budgeting and money management and just seeing if you know where your money is going, if you're making your money work for you the best that it should. So like I said, I love what I do. It's fun. I love educating and just getting to help all the people out there. So I can't wait to spread some more knowledge on you guys.
Yes, and we just are so excited to have you here today, Melissa. We've been working together for a couple years now in preparing our clients to buy their new home, focusing on residential property with Operation Hope and with you specifically. And we were so excited to start this partnership. And if you're someone who has been thinking about home ownership, it's been on your mind. Your friends or your family, they've been buying homes and you're saying to yourself, oh, I wish I could do that this year in 2023.
Yes.
That's a goal that I have. This is the seminar for you because even if you have a lot of student loan debt, like many of us do, right? Especially, postgraduate degrees with a law degree and an MBA, and Melissa with her MBA, we're degreed out and we are also debted. But that's okay because you'll learn today how to move forward even so, as well as if you have credit cards or you don't have a credit card yet. Maybe you even have collections, or you've had a repossession of a vehicle, or maybe that's not you. Maybe you are actually ready to go or just need to work on your credit score and raise it a few points.
Or maybe you know some other people who might be interested in the information that we are going to provide this evening, and you could share that information and also put them in touch with us.
Yes.
And we'll put you in touch with Melissa at Operation Hope.
That's right.
So there's information for everyone.
And hey, take the moment now. If you know someone is on your mind who should be here with us, this will be on replay, but you can always share out this post, share out this live now. Okay? So, Melissa, if someone is thinking about buying a home, whether they're ready now or they just have a little bit of work to do, talk to us. Tell them, inspire them, let them know that they too can become homeowners.
Yes. So I've been with Operation Hope now, so going on 5 years. So over that time, you name it, I've seen it. I've seen people come to me with 400 credit scores. I've seen people with 800 credit scores that maybe just needed help with the money management. So I'm one of those, I always tell people, I'm never here to judge you. I'm here to help you and educate you. And that's one of the things that we found is people they have credit, but they don't have the education behind it. So they don't really know why someone's score is maybe a 700 versus a 500 or an 800. I've had all ages from 18 all the way up to 80. This is a lot of information that's just not really taught through schools. But it's also extremely valuable information. Again, it's not even all about credit. It may just be that, hey, you need to work on savings, or maybe you're just not sure if you can afford it. You don't know with your budget. You don't know where your money's going, anything like that. So those are the different things that I help with. One of the best things with our program that I forgot to mention a while ago is it is completely cost-free to anyone that wants to come in. So again, if you are interested, like the Turner team said, is click or scan the QR code or click on the link to get registered. So that way they can get you connected with me. So we can get you on those roads. Like I said, I've been doing this for 5 years. It's so much fun. Some people may be in the program with me for 3 months, all the way up to 2 years. So it just kind of depends on your situation. So what we do whenever you do come to me and meet with me is we do one-on-one credit counseling, where we just go through and just have a conversation about where are you at right now? What are your goals? What do we need to work on? What have kind of been some of your issues or your stumble points throughout finances? And we create a plan together to help you reach that goal. Like I said, whether it be 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, I'm going to be here to help you support and give that accountability to you so we reach those goals. I reach out to all of my clients once a month to see how you're doing. What do you need? Do we need help? We have access where we can actually pull credit reports as a soft pull. So it doesn't give you any dings or hurt your credit, but it gives us that actual information of your FICO score. So, our main goals is we want to help people increase their credit scores, increase their savings, and reduce their debt. So a lot of those things that people want in life, but don't always know exactly how to do it. And that's what I'm here to help, because everyone's situation is different. Their income is different. Their goals are different. Their life situation is different. Sometimes life gets in the way, and sometimes we just need a sounding board, someone to kind of help us through things. And those are the different things that I help with. But today, before we get into that, we really want to kind of talk about credit and teach you guys what is credit and how do you get that score? How do you get that 700 credit score so we can get you into that dream home? Did you guys have something that you wanted to say first?
No, keep going. This is good. Talk to our viewers, most definitely.
So one of the things, with credit scores, so a big thing that a lot of people don't even know is they just don't even know the ranges of scores. So credit scores can actually go anywhere from 350 all the way up to 850. 850 is an awesome goal. It takes time to get there. So I always tell all of my clients, my goal is to get you to a 700 credit score. That 700 credit score is just going to put you in a much better position to get approved for a loan, to get a better interest rate. And at that point, if you have a 700 credit score, you usually know what's going on with your money and where it's going, and you have money put aside, and you're not doing that wing it method of just, oh, I pay bills, but I have no idea. I don't know how much I spend at the grocery store or going out, that kind of stuff. So that's one of the things that we really work with, is that I always tell people that 700 is kind of our sweet spot where we want to get to. Like I said, we want to make sure that house, you're getting it at the lower interest rate and at a better spot for you. So let's really go in and dive in of how does someone get a 700 credit score versus a 500 credit score. So the algorithms for credit reports are crazy long, and there's all kinds of things that go into it, but there's really 5 areas that we really focus on and want to look at. So let's take a quick look at a slide real quick, just to kind of show you guys these areas that we are going to talk about. Perfect. So what makes up a credit score? So it's different areas. So total debt utilization, length of credit history, account diversity, new accounts, and then payment history. So if you guys all want to take a screenshot of this, we'll also share it in the chat for you guys as well. So it's there. But let's really dive into these and figure out what this is talking about. I'm going to give you guys just a few seconds to post screenshots if you need to, and then we will dive in. Awesome. So the first thing that is most important in everyone's credit history is your payment history. So payment history makes up 35% of your credit report. So this is the one thing I tell every single person I talk to or I meet or anything. If you don't remember anything from this conversation or from what we're talking about, I hope you do. But if you don't, remember this: pay your bills on time. So this is huge. Like I said, 35% of your credit report. And just to kind of give you an idea, I have literally seen someone to where they had all on-time payments and they had an oops in life and something happened, and all of a sudden they had a late pay. That late pay can drop your score up to 50 points instantly. So long story short, pay your bills on time every month. And this is really looking at those things that is on your credit report. So credit cards, loans, student loans, those can be huge ones that we never want to ignore those. I know right now we're lucky enough that it's still in forbearance, but in June, August, that's going to change.
Yes.
Again, if you meet with me, I can help with all that stuff too. So payment history is huge. Like I said, 35% of your credit report. And I can see whenever we look at credit reports, I can see right there as soon as it pops up how late you've been, how often you've been late, how many times, all of that stuff, and every account that you've had for the last 7 years. I can see all of that stuff, and that's a huge impact. So pay those bills on time. Yes. And like I said, it can drop 50 points, but then to recover those points, that can take 6 months to a year to get those points back up. Right? So we want to get those payments on time. One of the good things, so this is another fact that a lot of people don't realize. So say your loan is due on the 1st. If you pay, so let's talk about a credit card. If it's due on the 1st, you pay it on the 2nd. You are technically late with the credit card, so you're going to get charged a late fee. But it will not report to credit until day 31. So if you say, oh, oops, my bill was due yesterday, I didn't pay it, don't wait, pay it so it doesn't get marked on credit. And then I always tell people, if you have that oops where you forgot, call the company, be proactive, and ask them if they'll maybe waive the fee for you. The worst they're going to do is say no. The worst thing you can do is just ignore it and forget about it, because they're not going to forget about it. It's going to be there. So be proactive with things with your finances. Okay?
Yes. Yes. Melissa, if I could interject, do you have any advice? So right now, right? Many of us who have loans, we're in the government forbearance. And when we talk with our buyer clients who are in that government forbearance, we're always very adamant about making sure that you know what's going to happen, right? When we're taken out, that you don't go into default. Do you have any advice for student loan borrowers as to what they can do right now to make sure that if it's July or if they extend it again, that they do not go into default, but into a good payment plan?
Yep. One of the best things you can go is to studentloanaid.gov. And you can go in there and you can set up an account, and it'll show you all your information. It'll show you all of the accounts that you have, everything right there. You can set up payment plans. You can get everything prepared. I always tell people, so, student loans are supposed to have started multiple times by now. So some people have. If they're saying June and August, I would say in May is like the perfect time to really get in there and make sure you have a payment plan set up, because they're not going to be forgiving of, oh, I didn't get a payment plan set up in time. Get the ball rolling early so you have that payment plan ready. But going to that website, they do pretty much everything online now. So going on there is the easiest thing to do. Another thing, like if you are interested or have questions with it, that's another thing. Register for this workshop so the Turner team can get you connected with me. I have student loans personally, so I have to do it. And then I also help a lot of my clients with it. I always tell people to set up for the income-based payment plan. It's typically the lowest payment plan. You can always pay extra, but you can never pay less. So that's where we can go through and look at the payment plans and talk about, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I can at least kind of be a sounding board and advise you on the right route to go. So great question.
Yes, excellent. Yes. Thank you, Melissa. Keep going. This is some really great information.
Awesome. So the next part that makes up your credit score. So the number 2 section that is huge is when we're talking about amounts owed. So this is when we're looking at revolving accounts. So lines of credit and mainly credit cards. So again, this makes up 30% of your credit report. Okay. So having high balances on credit cards is also kind of a negative. And it makes up a huge impact of it. If I was looking at your credit report, I would rather you see high balances with on-time payments versus low balances with late payments, right? So the magic number for this is you want to keep each credit card under 30% utilization, right? So for easy numbers and easy math, say you have $1,000 limit on a credit card, you want to stay under $300, right? So you want to use that card in a way that helps build your credit, but not put you in debt, right? So that's where, again, when we do those one-on-ones, we look at that budget and see what's going on. Do we need to pay things down? Are you someone, maybe I have a lot of clients that just don't have credit cards because maybe, I know me growing up, my mom always told me, don't get a credit card because they're scary. You'll get in trouble with them.
Yes.
Right. And I did because I was uneducated about it. But I worked my way out of it. But having credit cards is, again, that's 30% of your credit report. So if you're someone that doesn't have it, that's one of the things we need to get opened. Another thing we talk about in there is using that card to help your credit and your payment history, not putting you in debt. Mm-hmm. Right? So not using it for, not going to get a store card, or getting a credit card to go on vacation. We don't want you to do that. We want you to get a card and use it for an everyday expense. So we're not trying to add bills to your life. One of my favorite things to have clients do when they're very hesitant about having a credit card is they don't want to be in debt. We all these days have some sort of monthly subscription, right? Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, Spotify. We got something out there, right?
Or all of them.
Yeah, all of the above. Credit card and put those monthly subscriptions on that credit card. You're already paying that bill every month. Mm-hmm. So you're just restructuring where that payment's going. Charge it to the card and then pay it off every month. So you're getting the payment history, but you're not putting yourself in debt. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing I always recommend, don't put it in your wallet. If it's not in your wallet, you can't use it.
Right. That's a good one. I hadn't heard of that one yet, Melissa. That's good.
Yeah, things that people don't always think about, but it makes sense. If you don't have it, you're not tempted when you're at the store, especially with kiddos, of, I'll just put it in the card, and you're not tempted to do that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So awesome. So the next section that we want to look at, excuse me, is the length of our credit history. And again, this is something that's kind of out of our control, especially if you're someone that's younger. A lot of times you can't really establish credit until you're 18, or if you're just new to the credit world, you need time, right? So for new accounts to actually affect our credit score, it's going to take 3 to 6 months of payment history. So it's not like, hey, I have no credit, I want to buy a house tomorrow. Gonna take a little bit more time.
That's why come a year in advance. It's still a good time to start. Always a good time.
Yeah, so having that length of credit history. The other thing is I tell people is, if, say you have a credit card out there that you don't use anymore, but you've had it open, do not close it, because closing it can decrease your length of payment history, because once you close that account, your payment history ends. That is a little different when we're looking at loans, because installment loans are designed to close. Those ones are a little bit different, but credit cards, we never want to close them. Yes, there are one-offs where sometimes it may be a better idea to close it, but that's something more on a one-on-one basis that we would talk about. But yeah, keep it in an account and keep it open. Use it the right way, and just keeping it open. We don't want to close things, or like I said, especially with those credit cards, leave them open. The only time I ever recommend closing them is to say you're getting a yearly fee and you're not using them. Okay. But again, that's like a one-on-one basis. So we would definitely want to chat about that, because we may not, because if that's the only one you have, you don't want to close it, because then again, you've lost that 30% again, right?
Right.
So that one only makes up 15% of your credit score. So it's not the end of the world. It's not a huge section, but it still does impact things.
Melissa, I have a question. What if you keep it at a zero balance?
That is totally fine. So are you saying you use it, but then you just pay it off every month?
Pay it off, yes.
Nope, that's what I always recommend. There's myths out there sometimes where it's like you have to carry a balance. You don't have to.
Okay.
I think in the 5 years I've been doing this, I have told people for a couple months, leave a $5 balance. But for the most part, you don't want to do that, because then they're just going to charge you interest.
Yes.
The name of the game is no interest, right? You want to use it and pay it off. So yeah, I don't, like I said, I think 2 times I can think of I've ever recommended that. So yeah, use it and pay it off every month.
Use it like a debit card, right? That's what I always hear. That's what my parents tell me. Use it like a debit card, myself and my brother.
And then pay it off. Yes.
And then pay it off.
If you don't have it in your account, doesn't mean you just put it on the credit card.
That's right.
And means you don't buy it.
Right, yeah. If it's not in your wallet, you can't use it.
That's right. Okay,
right? Lock it
great.
up. Give it to your mama. Give it to grandma. Give it to someone trusted to lock it away.
As long as they're not going to use it.
Make sure it's someone that you trust, and they'll put it away. But yeah, like I said, credit cards can be a good thing, and they can be really beneficial with your credit report and getting where you want to be. It's just all about learning the right way. I can say personally, me, when I first got a credit card, I didn't do it the right way because I didn't know. I wasn't educated. I was in college and young and dumb, But you learn through you go. But the whole goal of this is that we can teach you those skills before you get into that debt situation.
Most definitely. Yes.
Yes. Great questions. Love them. So the next section that we are going to look at is new credit. So this is opening new accounts. So whenever I see your credit report, I can see how many accounts are new, how long they've been on there, how many inquiries you've had. Have you gone and tried to get approved for loans, but it didn't work? Or did you try to approve for credit cards and they didn't work? Car loans sometimes can really get people on these ones that they'll run your credit a bunch of times. That's one of those things that, say you go to a dealership, say they may run your score 10 times. If it's all done within one day, it really counts as one. It just doesn't look like it on the credit report. So that's something where I go through with you and kind of talk you through it. The one thing I always tell people that don't be like, hey, I talked to Melissa and she said I need to have more loans and more credit cards. Don't just go out and start applying for a whole bunch of stuff, right? I always recommend you want to have 1 to 2 credit cards and 1 to 2 loans. You may ask, well, I don't have credit yet, or my credit's not very good. I'm not going to get approved for loans. There are some wonderful products out there that really help and is geared more of a savings product, but does help with credit at the same time. So there are ways we can still get you approved for a loan that is not putting you in debt. And there's some really cool products and cool things out there to help you with the credit without putting you in debt. The other thing is I've had clients for like, oh, Melissa said I need a credit card. So they go apply for 4 different credit cards. You don't want to do that. Because then at that point you're looking risky, because in the credit bureaus, they're looking at it and saying, okay, what has changed in this person's life that they need to apply for 4 different credit cards? That becomes a red flag to them. Start with 1. If it doesn't work, then that's when you have me and we talk about, okay, maybe we need to go a different direction. Maybe we need to do something different first to see what it is. But you don't want to open a whole bunch. You don't want to have all these store cards and a whole bunch of student loans are a little different because they may show that you have a whole bunch. That's something where we can talk about consolidating them so it doesn't look like you have as many. But yeah, new loans, rule of thumb, if you don't need new credit, don't get it. Don't just apply for it because you think you need more things on there. One of the myths is I found a lot of people just think, oh, I need more things on my credit. I don't have enough. A lot of times we find it's not that you need more. We just need to look at how you're doing and how you're handling what you already have. So again, that's why I'm here to kind of help guide you through it and make sure that you're on that right path. And the last thing that we look at is the credit bureaus want to see what types of credit you have in use. So this is 10% of your credit report. So they want to see that you have a healthy mix of revolving debt, which are those credit cards and the line of credit, and the installment debt. So mortgage, student debt, car payment, personal loans, those. They want to see that you have a healthy mix of both of those. Like I said, you want to have 1 to 2 credit cards and 1 to 2 loans. Depending on what season of life you're in, there may be a little bit more loans. But I never recommend having more credit cards than that. So just having a healthy mix of them. Don't go crazy on one end. Sometimes I'll have clients that come in and they only have credit cards and no loans. Well, we need to add that. Or they only have loans and they don't have any credit cards. Well, we need to talk about which credit cards you should go with, what you should be looking for, what's your best options, that kind of stuff. Any questions or anything you guys want to jump in and add to that part before I move on to some other things?
Yes, no, I think you really covered it really, really well. And I know, today we're really focusing on the credit aspects of
Mm-hmm.
preparation and the questions that you have as a viewer, whether it's now or in the replay of our seminar, feel free and utilize the chat. We are monitoring the chat. You also see where you can click the link to schedule your call with the Turner team, whereas we will then connect you with Melissa. So make sure you go ahead and utilize that link as well. And when you have questions, put it in the chat and we will make sure that we ask them to Melissa for you. Okay. And I know, Melissa, you still have more that you're sharing with us here about savings and, debt further and other really, really important information. Now, this is all about empowerment, and I feel empowered.
Yes.
Awesome. I always hope that someone walks away with at least learning one thing or feeling better about something that we talked about. It's always my goal.
That's right.
Yeah. So just a couple more things I wanted to include in there before I wrap up my part. So some of you may say is, okay, I have collections on my report, or maybe I have a charge off, or some of those negative things. That's something where in those one-on-ones we're going to look at and see what you have. What does it look like? Is it something that we need to dispute, or is it something that we need to prioritize a payment plan? One of the big misconceptions is people focus on only the collections and they're forgetting about the active accounts. So I always tell people, if you kind of think about a scale, you want to have more positive on your credit report than negative. So if you only have negative, we need to add some positive and then work on decreasing the negative. And that's one of the biggest things I always hear people say is, well, I have these collections. I need to get those paid off before I can add to my credit report or actually have things. Well, those active trade lines is what's going to keep generating that credit report, right? So if there's nothing active and all you have are collections, the scores, nothing's going to happen, right?
Right.
Okay.
And collections, a lot of times collections may not be that you just haven't paid a regular bill, a light bill or what have you, that is now in collections. It may be that you had a medical emergency, right?
Mhm.
And because of that medical emergency, you were unable to pay those hospital bills. Well, one thing that we like to bring up, not giving legal advice, of course, although being an attorney, I don't give legal advice to my clients, our clients on the real estate end. However, it's something that we always say, talk to Melissa, ask her, is that, something that you can have removed off of your credit report because of HIPAA? HIPAA violations. And I know that is for sure a thing that you have done to help our clients to prepare to buy. If you want to talk just a little bit more about that too, or other eras.
Yeah. So just the biggest thing is whenever we meet, we go through your credit report. I'm going to pull it. We're going to talk about it and go through everything on there. The biggest thing is if you look and you're like, I have no idea what that is, or that's not me, we're not just going to be like, oh, it's on there, we have to leave it. No, we want to challenge that and ask them like, hey, can you provide me with written verification of debt? Because I don't know what this is. You can't just because it's on your credit report doesn't mean it's 100% accurate. You can challenge it and you can question it. With or with medical collections, sometimes we can challenge those to see if we can get them removed, because there are some collection companies out there that violate HIPAA laws. So sometimes we can get those removed without you having to pay the debt. With that, it doesn't excuse the debt. It just comes off.
That's right.
You still have to pay it.
We always tell them that you're still going to have to pay this bill. But
then you don't have the negative on your credit report. And that's one of those, it just depends on the collection company. There's several of them. I can tell you right now that they do not violate HIPAA laws, so we can't get them removed. But then that's when we shift that conversation and talk about, how do we address this? What are our options? And really talk about, okay, if it's a larger bill, can we maybe try to settle it? Can we set up a payment plan and kind of see what we can do? The other thing I always talk with all my clients, if there's someone that has medical issues and has medical debt on there, I always tell them, when you start getting those bills, don't ignore them. Call the hospital, call the doctor's office, because there are financial resources to help you, especially if you're someone that may be low to moderate income. There's resources to help you that sometimes can wipe down the debt, can get rid of
That's
it, can
right.
really decrease it. Again, being proactive with your finances. Don't just, oh, I'm getting all these medical debt, you're overwhelmed. Call them. The worst thing they're ever going to do is say, there's nothing we can do for you.
Yeah. I think that's great because a lot of people don't know that the hospitals in their financial offices, they have designated personnel that will help you if you have financial difficulty,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and sometimes they could just adjust the bills or whatever is necessary within their reach that they can do. And so a lot of people don't know that. That's
Mm-hmm.
why you can't just close your eyes and hide when things happen. You have to open
Right.
up your eyes and be active, proactive. And most times you can find a solution
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
rather
Yeah,
than
you just
running
gotta
away.
ask.
Yes,
Just
yes,
ask,
yeah.
and that's what we're here for. So you have something that we don't get to tonight because there's so many situations, there's so many hypotheticals and so many different clients that we've all worked together to prepare to buy,
Mhm.
that we're not going to touch every basis.
Yeah.
But the main takeaway is that if you have the goal to be a homeowner, whether it's this year or the next year, whatever the case is, contact us, right? Because we are going to get you started on your journey and we're going to connect you with Melissa. So, Melissa, keep going. You're telling us some really good things here. We're excited.
Awesome. So I know with the main of that, we really focused on the credit side of it. So like I said, we do the one-on-one credit counseling to really talk about your money management skills as well. So that is something I don't always talk about in the presentations just because it is a very individualized conversation. Like I said before, everyone's life is different, their goals is different, their income is different, their spending is different. So one of the things that we really do talk about in those one-on-one counseling is we're going to look at your budget. How much money do you bring in? Where is that money going? I find that a lot of people, and I was guilty of this before, is I like to just call it, they do the wing it method, right? We know our direct deposit comes in, we get paid, we know those big bills. We know what our rent or mortgage is. We know what our car payment, our cell phone, we know what those are. But we have no idea what we're spending. So when you're looking at gas, groceries, food, clothes, any of those ones, like you have no idea. It's just, well, I know I need this, so I get it. And that's something where I really talk with my clients is we want to know where that money is going. We all are guilty of, we have probably at least one or two areas where you probably spend more than you should. I know I have a couple. That's the areas we really want to look at because you can't change your car payment, you can't change your rent or your mortgage, but we can look at your spending habits and where can we cut back. I'm one of those, I'm not going to tell you where you have to cut back, but we're going to have that conversation of where can we cut back. Can you cut back? Sometimes I found that we can't. That's things are expensive these days. Sometimes it is what it is, but those are the areas where we can look. I had a client the other day we were talking and she's like, yeah, I go get coffee like every day. And I was like, okay, quick math. How much do you usually spend? And she's like, $3 a day every day. And I was like, okay, so think times 7, that's $20 a week. That's $80 a month you're spending just on coffee. I was like, what if you took 3 days a week and you could take that $80 coffee budget down to 50? You have just created $30 in your budget that you didn't know you had, and you didn't have to go find a new job for it. Right? So it's just looking at it differently. So looking to see where your money's going. The other big piece that we talk about is those savings goals, because especially if you want to purchase a house, you're going to want to have some money down. You're going to want to have some money put aside because let's be real, when you buy a new house, you're going to be excited. You're going to want to buy something new. What if something breaks? Maybe it's a bigger house or a bigger space, so you need furniture. We want to have that savings goal where you have money set aside. You can do that if you don't go into debt.
Yes,
Those are
yes.
some of the things that we talk about, like I talk about with my clients. Let's set up that monthly savings goal of seeing how much can you put aside. And let's actually see, is that real? Can you do it? and let's actually have that support and that accountability to help you do it. Because we all know savings is one of those that you can just push off.
Right.
One of my favorite sayings is you got to pay yourself first. You know, treat yourself like a bill. You're not just gonna not pay your mortgage or pay your rent.
That's
So put
right.
yourself there. Yeah.
What do you think is a really good amount to have saved? Before you get started, we have our amounts when we know about different programs that our buyers are able to utilize, and But what do you, as a financial advisor to our clients, think is a good amount for them to save?
Yeah, so I always start on the low end of it, I always tell people you want to have a minimum of $2,000 saved up. So again, you have a little bit of cushion depending on what program you qualify or what you can do, which you guys know that.
Of
It
course.
may be less than that, it may be more, but I always say bottom dollars, we want to at least get that $2,000 saved up.
That's
Yes.
right.
And I just think it's such excellent advice to pay yourself first, because then you will budget the rest. And then as you see your savings grow, that's an incentive to continue. And finances, money, those topics are topics that we usually don't talk about. There's some guilt, or people feel, it's very private, it's secretive. But I think that that's the problem. Those issues need to be discussed. Hopefully someday they'll be teaching this in the schools,
Right.
because young
That's
children need to
important.
learn as they grow that you don't spend, when you get $5 from the tooth fairy, you don't spend all $5,
On some candy.
at candy,
Right.
you
And that's one of
save
the things
some
that
of
I know, like from growing up, and my parents were wonderful. Nothing against them, but how
Yes.
finances that's an adult matter. You don't need to know about it.
Yes.
So then it was like when I became adult, it was like, well, I know I got to pay my bills, but then what?
How?
Like, how do I budget
Yeah.
this? I get this paycheck,
Yeah.
and what do I do with it? I can't just have
Yes.
fun. What are you talking about? And,
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't wing it,
And you're never
like I
too
said, no
young.
wing it method.
You're never right. No wing it method, right? You're never too
Right.
young to start. Never too young to start and begin your learning journey, so that when you're ready, you're ready. That's what we like to always say. Start preparing. So when
And
you're
that
ready, you're ready to buy.
even getting your kiddos involved in the conversation.
Yes.
Yes.
Like
Excellent.
we even did one of the things we did with our kiddos for Christmas is, we want to teach them about giving and doing that, but it's not going crazy. We took them to like the $5 store and like physically gave them cash. It was like, here's the money. You get to pick something out. And then it was like, nope, you don't have enough money for that. And then they got to exchange it and hand it off. And they thought it was so much fun and cool.
Right.
They didn't think it was like a learning lesson, but stuff like that. And even challenging them, I hear a lot of parents say, well, I'm just busy all the time. So my kids, we just stop by McDonald's because it's easier and it's faster. And I'm like, have that conversation with them. Be like, mommy and daddy are we're really working on, we want to buy a house and we want to have a yard, and talk to them about it. And then be like, okay,
Yes.
but we really need to work on this. And you'd be surprised how then kids will be like, mommy, you said we weren't going to McDonald's every day.
Right. We need to save. We're buying a new home. Yes.
But that's funny, Melissa, because when my children, Kimberly and her brother, were young, they used to love to go to McDonald's after school. And you know what I started doing? I started carrying a little picnic in the car, a little lunch bag with snacks in it and juices. And to stop going to McDonald's, because we were spending a fortune with the Happy Meals, and then at some point, well, we didn't buy that Happy Meal. We just go in and buy the toy, and then have the sandwiches.
Yes. And that starts the cycle, right? Because you know that when you buy a home, which we'll talk about in our next seminar with our lender, Andy House and Guaranteed Rate Affinity, right? But when you're buying a home, you have closing costs and you have a down payment. So there are programs that we will connect you with as your realtors too, where you could have 0% down payment, or 0.5, less than 1% down payment, as well as closing costs where we can work with our lenders, our partnering lenders, to get you up to $6,000 in closing costs. But you still want to have in your savings account at least $2,000. We say $2,000 to $3,000 to go towards the purchase of your home, right? Because you never know. You always want to be prepared.
Yes.
Thank you for answering that question. Keep going.
Yeah, like I said, just getting your kids involved in the conversation. You know, they don't have to know all the details, all of that stuff, but just making them excited about it. You know, like I said, it'll be funny how, you know, they'll call you out on things like, "Mommy, you said you weren't going to do that," or, you know how kids are. They say the darndest things, right?
Yes.
So, and that's something I've encouraged one of my clients the other day that she was just talking about. She's like, you know, I'm just bad. It's like, my son wants McDonald's. And I even brought up kind of like your picnic thing. I was like, what if you just brought a snack and you guys stopped at the park or something and ate it that way? And it's like, and then it's, you know, mommy and son time. And you get time with your kiddo, you know, just the two of you. And she's like, oh, I never even thought of that. And, you know, like I said, sometimes just having a different sounding board, looking at things differently. With the budgeting and that stuff, I always tell people there's no really, well, I guess there is a wrong way to do it, and that's not doing it. But there's really no like one way to do it. You know, you have to find a method and a system that works best for you. You know, I've had people that are, you know, notebook people that carry a notebook and they write things down. I have people that, I have an app and it goes on there, or they do an Excel spreadsheet, or whatever it may be. It doesn't matter to me how you do it. You just want to have some sort of method. So then when we have those conversations, when I say, how much is this bill? How much is this? How much are you spending? You can be like, oh, hey, give me a second. You pull out your phone and you can answer it.
That's right. That's right.
Like one of the things I found that is sometimes it's just craziness sometimes when I ask people, how much money do you bring home on a monthly basis? And people have no idea.
Yeah,
you know, if you don't know how much, right? If you don't know how much you're bringing in, I guarantee you don't know how much is going out.
You have to budget. You have to have, you know, your financial statements and figure out what are your goals and write that all down. That's one of the things that we have our clients do, right? To make sure as to how much money you actually want to spend on your mortgage, right?
Right.
Is because just because you're pre-approved for $300,000 doesn't mean that you need to buy a home for your first home, especially that's $300,000. Now, we have had first-time home buyers who have brought $300,000 and plus homes. However, if it's not in your budget. So in order to know what your budget is, you have to say, how much money do I make each month, right?
Yep.
And then what are my expenses? And not only what are my expenses, but then how much do I want to save? I need to pay myself first. How much do I want to save? How much do I want to invest?
And that's what Melissa will help you do.
Yes.
Yep, that's what we go through. We're going to look at the numbers. Like I said, we are completely client focused. So we're going to, it's all about the individual. You know, I want to do what you're wanting. If you want to buy the house, let's work on that. If you're like, okay, my credit's pretty good, but I need to work on the savings piece of it, we're going to work on that. If you're like, I'm just horrible at managing my money, I don't know what's going on or where it's going, then we're going to look at that. You may be a combination of all three. That's totally fine too. The one thing I never do with my clients, I'm never going to give you a to-do list of like 10 things to do, because that's overwhelming. You're going to walk away and be like, what?
Right.
So I always tell people bite-sized pieces. In my head, I may say, okay, there's 10 things they have to do. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you 2 things to do. And then we're going to talk in a couple weeks. And did you do it? If you did, great. Let's move on to the next piece. If you didn't, then we're going to discuss what happened. What can we change? What did we do good? What do we need to do better? You know, what do we need to do differently? And just kind of be that support and accountability, because like you said, a lot of people, you know, finances, we don't want to talk about it. It's like a hush hush.
It is.
I'm a unbiased person that you can talk to me about it. I'm not going to judge you.
And it's confidential.
It's confidential. And not only that, Melissa, is it necessary for the husband and wife to both meet with you?
Not necessarily. It just depends. If it's like, I've had some couples where it's like, hey, the one person has good credit and they're good, but maybe the other person doesn't. I'll meet with just one of them.
Okay.
Sometimes we need to do together, sometimes we don't. Again, it just totally depends on how the couple does finances and what their situation is. So yeah, just having that, and that's the one thing I really spend time with my clients is just talking to them.
That's
it's
right.
Just getting to know, because we can talk about finances, but then when I talk to you and find out, oh, you have kids, well, in your budget you didn't put any expenses for kids.
Yes.
I didn't have that time to get to know you. I'm really big on just talking to people and getting to know you. That's the best part, and that's going to help you more than just having like that automated budget on your phone that you pull up. It doesn't help you, right?
That's right.
So you build a relationship with your clients.
Yes, and that's why we love working with you, because that's what we build with our clients, and we send them to you, and now we're one big family.
Yes, it's fun. Like, I had a client today that, like, she had an appointment scheduled, and I was like, what? That's way too early. She's at work. And I emailed her. She's like, nope, that was an accident. And she's like, thank you for knowing that.
Yeah.
And I was like, one, you never miss an appointment. Some of my favorite things of being here and doing what I do is there's a couple times where I had, specifically, I had one couple that they had some rough credit. We had some work to do. They were in the low 500s. So after about a year of us working on their plan, them doing the goal, it's not me doing the work. I'm just here to help and guide you and support you. They put in the hard work and they got approved for a home. They were a married couple. They had 4 kiddos. And I was lucky enough to be invited to go to the closing and go see the home with them. So that was really fun. They were bawling and hysterical and crying because they were so excited. They were the people they never thought they'd be able to own their own home. So it was just really fun to be a part of that and get to know them and their kids, and just get to be there for them. Like, those are my favorite parts of the job. Like I said, you're not just a number to me. I really want to help you and get to know you.
That's right. That's right. And that's why it's been so successful. We've had clients who, we've sent to Melissa with Operation Hope, and they have raised their credit score 70 points in less than 4 months. 70 points in less than 4 months.
And many of them are in their new homes right now.
Yes.
And sometimes, we hear from our clients that, oh, they didn't think it was possible.
Yes.
They didn't think it was possible to own a home, and their credit was not good, and they had all other little problems. But anything in life that's worth having is worth, fighting for, and everything takes one step at a time.
That's right.
So as once you open up your eyes, like the kids say, get woke.
Yes, wake up. I tell my clients that I may not be able to guarantee we get to your timeline.
Yes.
But we'll get to your
goal. As long as you're willing to put in the work, we'll get you to the goal.
That's right. Yes. And we're in it for the long haul. It's not like, well, I only have a 550, right? And I need a 640, because that's what we want to get you to, right? There are some loans where you can have a 600, but you have to be very careful of those. Usually the terms are not as favorable as you would like.
And the interest rates are much higher.
Right. Yes. So we work together with Melissa to get you to a 640 or better. And then now we can go ahead and utilize the various loans, whether, it's a VA, FHA, conventional, depending on your whole financial background, of course. And then we connect you with one of our preferred lenders, and you're able to start that journey after you've prepared. And it's okay if it takes you a year, if it takes you 6 months, if it's as simple as 2 weeks.
Yes.
We had one client, I believe you helped, and found some errors on their report.
Yes.
And then they were able to be pre-approved.
Yes.
You're about to get a couple of those back too that are about ready. So.
Oh yes. We're very happy for them, because this is a great time to buy.
Yes,
especially if you're renting. Renting is 100% interest. Yes. I'll say that again. Renting is 100% interest.
Because you don't get any of that money back.
None of it. You pay someone else's mortgage. So you're paying a mortgage, you might as well pay your own. And this is the year to do it. And we are the team who will help you to it. Oh, you see what I did there? So we are so excited. Thank you so much, Melissa, for sharing.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. And you know what? Melissa is a wealth of knowledge. She's just so invested. She is dedicated to what she does, and she cares. And that those
two together,
those kinds of characteristics, make you so special. Because she could be doing something else with her time right now, but she's here live with us, trying to get information out that will help you. And, credit scores are not just for buying a house. Credit scores is good for anything that you want to buy on time. So, get your credit scores together and let your credit look as good as you look.
Okay. Yes.
I've had clients that just want to buy a car, or they're like, I'm not ready now, but I may want to buy a house in 5 years.
Yes.
But they just want to make sure they're ready. So when things change and they are ready, they really are ready. So it doesn't matter what your goal is.
That's right. We can help you to it. And, tonight we were specifically talking about preparing to buy your home. And we are so excited and so glad that Melissa with Operation Hope was able to share such great information with all of our viewers. So I know you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and like this post, share this post, and make sure that it's able to reach the masses. This is really great information because anyone can become a homeowner.
Yes.
And
if you work at it, you can. Yes, you can. And also, I want to thank all the viewers who have come on to spend the time with us this evening. And I hope that you have learned something that will help you along the way to home ownership. And share the information with your family and friends. They'll say, "Oh, I didn't know you were so smart about finances."
Yes. And at the end of the day, this is the time to get started.
Yes.
So go ahead and like our page. You'll be able to see this on replay. Also, make sure you scan the registration link so we can follow up with you and you can follow up with us. You also have a link in the chat so that you're able to schedule your call with the Turner Team Realtors, myself, Kimberly Turner.
And Denise Turner.
And then we will connect you with Melissa Karan. And she will get you to your goal to be prepared to buy. And then we will take it from there. Okay.
And I love the name of the company, Operation Hope. That says it all.
Hope. Yes. And before we go, we always would like to share with you what's next, right? So coming up next here, we have a workshop with Andy House, who is with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. Guaranteed Rate Affinity is a loan company that we have worked with for many, many years. And he's going to be talking about keys to home ownership. And keys to home ownership will focus on the lender's point of view. So we have prepared you with Melissa Karan. Okay? And once you have been prepared, now we will discuss with Andy House of Operation Hope. Of Operation Hope. Andy House of Guaranteed Rate Affinity. You can see here Andy House with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. We will discuss keys to home ownership. So tune back in with us live Wednesday, February 22nd.
At 6 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Central Standard Time.
Yes.
And you will see the registration link on our Facebook page. Of course, we know that you have had plenty of opportunity to like and be able to follow us. And so we're looking forward to this year. This year, we are having multiple virtual and in-person seminars every month.
Yes.
Okay, so
every month.
so you'll be able to see, and they will be centered on residential and commercial real estate, because the Turner Team Realtors, we do specialize in both, and we'll be focusing in on buyers, sellers, and investors.
Yes, yes. Everything you need to know about acquiring real estate.
That's right. And it doesn't matter if you live here or in New York or California, Florida, Texas. It doesn't matter. We're able to help you because we partner in all 50 states with our top realtor partners within our team. So we're so excited about your opportunity to have your new home in 2023.
And once again, we want to thank you, Melissa, for sharing the information that you do so well. And we appreciate you. And we just love what you do. And we know for a fact that you have helped many of our clients to buy a home.
And so they're probably watching right now, watching from their new home. Okay, and you can too. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Thanks for having me. Like I said, I love doing this. So
yes,
ready for more referrals, more people.
That's right.
We'll have you come back again.
Yes, we already have Melissa on the schedule. So you'll see her here again before June. All right? Before June and then thereafter. So everyone, you take care. And if home ownership is your goal, we're the team to get you there. Take care and have a great rest of your day.
Bye-bye.